Right now this morning, battleground Wisconsin taking center stage today as Vice President Harris and former President Trump both making their way to the Badger State. What we need to know about the dueling visits coming up. And a new report finds many phone companies aren't doing enough to protect us from those robocalls and texts.
And we're back to the warm conditions again with showers and storms as a possibility of our forecast. I'll have more of that coming up in your QuickCast.
Streaming live now on News8000.com. You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now, this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us for News 8 Now this morning. I'm Alexandra Carter.
And I'm Art Jarrett.
It is Wednesday, October 30th. The weather kind of serving up some tricks on this Halloween Eve, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah. It has. We're flipping the script on you right now. We're going to see it's going to get warmer in the evenings and the midnight hour, and then cooler as we get into the afternoons. In fact, we're going to be seeing this again, like I mentioned before, just a little while ago, right here. This is this big ridge and the warmth of the moisture coming in off the Gulf. The humidity also associated with that flowing right into our area. So we're warmer right now, already in the 70s. Behind that, snow. You've got that over in Denver, up in the Rockies, and that's going to continue to track eastward as we go through today. That's going to be the back edge of that cold front that's on the way here, and that's going to usher in that cooler air for us as we go into it. That being said, I want to show you. Here's a look at some of that rainfall right now, and you can see it's kind of got that arcing motion because it still has that ridge. It's riding that ridge of high pressure, and it's still going to move over that and eventually get out of the way and start to work its way down, and that warmer air goes to the east coast. We get cooler, windy and warmer. That's for this morning, and then we get into showers and storms into the afternoon and in the evening hours. Then we may take a break going into tomorrow with the possibility of some snow in the forecast, and I'll show you that in just a bit.
All right, Art, thank you. A heads up, if you take Highway 35 this morning, a section of that road is closed following a late night crash. The Crawford County Sheriff's Office says the closure running between County Road F in Lynxville and Highway 171 near Ferryville. Deputies there investigating a crash that happened just after 11:30 last night. They expect the road to be closed for an extended period, they say. If you're heading north, you'll need to turn onto County Highway F, then take Highway 27. For those going south, detour onto Highway 171 until you reach Highway 27. We'll let you know as soon as the road reopens. State Patrol and Altoona Police investigating a multi-vehicle crash on Highway 12. 7 people were hurt there. It happened Monday near Highway 53. Officers say a semi heading north lost control on the exit ramp, hitting 2 vehicles. The highway was closed for hours. To the campaign trail now, the 2024 presidential candidates continuing their final push toward Election Day, which is now less than a week away. Today, Vice President Harris and former President Trump will both stump through North Carolina and here in Wisconsin. CBS's Jared Hill has more on that from Ohio.
Vice President Kamala Harris, before her largest campaign crowd yet, gave her closing argument in the same place former President Donald Trump gave his January 6th speech.
It is time to turn the page on the drama and the conflict. It is time for a new generation of leadership in America.
Trump took to the stage in Allentown, Pennsylvania shortly after, trying to woo Latino voters in the wake of a self-described insult comic at his Sunday rally, calling Puerto Rico an island of garbage.
I will deliver the best future for Puerto Ricans and for Hispanic Americans. Kamala will deliver you poverty and crime.
One state over from the Commonwealth, the increasingly red state of Ohio, is no longer a White House battleground, but it is knee-deep in the fight for control of Congress. Democratic incumbent Sherrod Brown needs Trump voters in his tight Senate race with Trump-backed challenger Bernie Moreno.
I want to maintain the control right now of the Senate.
You have to really check and balances.
CBS News is watching 10 other Senate races as Democrats face a tight map that leaves them with slim hopes of holding on to their 51-49 majority.
Early voting is underway in Ohio and dozens of other states. With just less than a week till the election, Vice President Harris holding a rally in Madison today. That visit to UW-Madison is part of the Harris Walz campaign's Get Out the Vote series. Harris will be joined by musicians Gracie Abrams, Mumford & Sons, and Remy Wolf. The time and exact location on campus have not been announced yet. Former President Trump also expected to rally today in Wisconsin. He'll be joined by legendary Packers quarterback Brett Favre in Green Bay. According to the Trump campaign, the former president will speak at the Resch Expo Center at 6 o'clock tonight. If you want to get out and vote early today, La Crosse residents can do that starting at 8:30 till 4 p.m. The Northside Policing Center will be open for you also from 9 to 4, or the Cleary Alumni and Friends Center on UWL's campus from 9 to 4. On Alaskans, you can head to the city clerk's office from 8 to 4. Major newspapers are facing backlash for staying neutral in the presidential race this year. The Washington Post and more than 200 Gannett publications say they won't endorse any candidate. While newspaper leaders say they're choosing facts over opinion, critics question the timing, especially after Washington Post owner Jeff Bezos declined to endorse Vice President Harris. Some readers are now canceling their subscriptions. Bezos acknowledges poor timing but denies any deal with the Trump campaign. And ahead of Election Day, accepting defeat before a single vote is counted. Democratic Congressman Mark Pocan and former Republican Congressman Reed Ribble coming together to take the Democracy First pledge. Both lawmakers promising to accept next week's election results regardless of outcome, saying American democracy relies on faith in the system. Ribble notes poll workers are trusted community members, often your own neighbors, who help ensure fair elections.
I've always said during this election cycle, because there's been so much misinformation and disinformation about Wisconsin elections. And I get it. Listen, if you don't trust politicians, that's fine. You probably shouldn't trust all politicians. But at the end of the day, you can trust your neighbors.
You can find a link to the pledge on our digital platforms. Officials across the country working to uphold election integrity as well. That comes as former President Trump and the Republican National Committee now suing some Democratic officials, alleging problems with the process. CBS's Skylar Henry looks at how election officials are trying to combat misinformation and show voters the upcoming election is legitimate.
As we inch closer to Election Day, officials and lawmakers are working to ensure the integrity of the voting process.
More confidence leads to greater participation, which is a good thing for our country.
In dozens of previous cases, courts have found no evidence of widespread voter fraud. That includes claims about improper registration, non-citizens' participation, and the voting systems themselves.
How is this process, I guess, safe, for a lack of a better word?
Every election jurisdiction, every county in the country has very clear rules about how ballots are handled.
Chris Mann with the Center for Election Innovation and Research says as early voting expands across the country, poll workers are able to focus on other potential issues.
It does a lot to help them, give them more time to deal with any problems, whether that's a power outage at a polling place, misinformation about voting procedures.
And that misinformation is, in part, leading to an uptick in threats and abuse to more than 10,000 local election officials nationwide, according to the Brennan Center for Justice.
It really, I think, has come as a shock to a lot of local election officials, especially, in non-battleground states, these areas that they've become the focus of this kind of attention.
Officials are stressing that people with questions about the process should go to vote.gov and get information about voting in their jurisdictions from legitimate sources before casting their ballot.
The Secret Service is looking ahead as well. The head of that agency announced on January 6, 2025, when lawmakers from the House and Senate count the state's electoral votes, there will be a dramatic security protection increase, similar to what we'll see at an inauguration or a head of state visit. Madeline Kingsbury's parents taking the stand for day 9 of Adam Fravel's murder trial yesterday. Kingsbury's mom, Krista, testified she saw changes in her daughter's relationship with Adam Fravel. She called the pair's relationship unstable and said Kingsbury was planning to permanently end it a week before she went missing. Kingsbury's father said he told his daughter to file a police report after Fravel allegedly choked her. The man who opened fire outside of a downtown La Crosse pizzeria will spend 32 years in confinement. DeAndrew Grant injured 6 when he opened fire near Politas Pizza last June. He originally faced 29 felonies but took a plea deal last month. And an arraignment has been set for the teen accused of killing 10-year-old Lily Peters. The defendant, who has not been publicly identified, will be arraigned in Chippewa County Court December 16th. The now 16-year-old boy faces first-degree intentional homicide, first-degree sexual assault, and first-degree child sexual assault charges. The Wisconsin Court of Appeals ruled in September the case will be tried in adult court. The time now is 6:10. Still ahead on your morning news. Hy-Vee confirming it's changing its number of self-checkout lines. A new Apple update showcasing the company's new AI, and a new report finding the city that's home to the most rats in the United States. It's kind of close to us. And a new report finds that many phone companies aren't doing enough to protect us from all those robocalls and texts. We'll share those details when we come back. For now, sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. Halloween, of course, is tomorrow. And on this Halloween Eve, the country will celebrate one of the holiday's most signature candies. Today is National Candy Corn Day. The sweet treat first debuted in the late 1880s. Candy corn's creator, Greg Renninger, initially made candy corn to resemble corn kernels. Back then, the candy's colors were yellow, orange, and white, but candy corn has evolved over the years. Now, the candy is often added to desserts and other treats, especially this time of year. It's also kind of controversial, right? I like it. As you start to wake up this morning, leaving you with a quick wake-up call with the only city to border by 2 national parks. That is Miami, Florida. The 2 sites are the Everglades National Park and Biscayne National Park. Stay with us. Your morning consumer news is coming up.
It's the Veterans Day sale at Home Furniture, and everything is on sale in living room, dining room, bedroom, and mattresses. Take an extra 10% off sale prices or pay no interest for 3 years. Plus, all Christmas decor is 50% off. The Veterans Day sale, now at Home Furniture.
Improving your home, improving your life with new entry doors. Few things in your home get the constant use of the entry door. Older entry doors are often hard to open, hard to close, drafty, cold, ugly, insecure, or all of these things, a source of daily misery. Correctly installed entry doors provide a safety and security for your family. They are easy to operate, provide comfort, and say welcome to family and friends. Call or visit the Board Store for a prompt free estimate. Get more for less today and every day. The Board Store.
California banker Eric Hovde has a plan that helps him and hurts you.
Here's the math. Hovde proposed $4 trillion in new tax cuts for rich people like him.
And we pay for Hovde's tax breaks with a 28% cut to Social Security and a 25% cut to Medicare.
Hovde even said he would raise the retirement age.
You have to start changing the retirement age.
Eric Hovde, still helping himself and hurting you.
Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
Welcome to Washington, D.C. You got a bunch of loudmouth, preening politicians. It's absolute chaos. I'm Derek Van Orden, and after 26 years as a Navy SEAL, there's a few things that I learned. You stay on mission, you know what you're fighting for, and sometimes you gotta get a little dirty to finish the job. Let's go, kids. Not you. Not you. You. Let's go. I'm Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message.
Politics these days stinks. Too much hot air, and you know what else. But I'm no stranger to putting in a hard day's work and getting the job done. I have a history of bipartisan accomplishments. It's a hard job, but I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. I can reach across the aisle and pass good bills just as easily as I can walk across the barnyard with my shovel. So whether it's doing chores on the farm or passing bills in Madison, I'm Steve Doyle, and I'm ready to get back to work for you.
Washington is corrupt. Senator Baldwin says she fights against Wall Street, and yet she lives with a Wall Street executive and gets all this money from Wall Street. She says she's standing up to Big Pharma and Big Tech, but look at the money she rakes in from Big Pharma, Big Tech, and their executives. Senator Baldwin doesn't work for you, she works for them. I'm Eric Hovde, I approve this message. I'm not taking their special interest money, I'll only work for you.
Quartz takes a different approach to health insurance. We know every life well lived is a journey, and we're here to light the way at every step. That's why for 40 years, we've been alongside the doctors and hospitals who know what their communities need. Because they're a part of them. Because we're a part of them. There's a fire burning in all of us. Let's ignite it together. Quartz. Find your spark.
Sleep your best sleep on a Beautyrest Black mattress from Home Sleep Express. And right now, pay no interest for 5 years. Plus, get free white glove delivery and a 120-night guarantee. Beautyrest Black mattresses at Home Sleep Express.
All right, this morning what I'm looking at here, going into it here, you're going to be seeing the conditions to be like this. Winds are now down to 16 miles per hour for Eau Claire. They were just at 20 over the last, say, 15 minutes ago. You've got La Crosse at 14 now, picking up, and eventually you're going to be seeing these winds continue to press across the area and spread up to at least 33 miles per hour today, possibly up to 36 miles per hour. That means the fog is really not the issue right now. And as we get into it here, once again, I wanted to show you at last hour, temperatures here in La Crosse were at 72 degrees. As we look forward now to this hour, the temperatures are now holding on to about 72 still, I think, but this is what's going to happen. You're going to be seeing these temperatures, they're going to be flipping on us real quick. So it's going to be 71 degrees. Once we get into 11 o'clock, you're going to be holding on to about 72 degrees, and they're going to start to warm up again. That's what's so weird about our local temperatures, because of that warmth that's here, that eventually cooler conditions are gradually starting to work back into the forecast as we finish out the day today. We'll hold on to winds getting to be like this at 23 miles per hour. By the time we get 11 o'clock, you're looking at winds up in the 30 mile per hour time, our wind range here. You're also going to be seeing them back down once we get into the 6 o'clock, and eventually we'll go into the overnight hours. Those winds back down and then come back again for the morrow as we go into the 7 o'clock hour and continue on, and then start to press back down for your Halloween. You're seeing those winds about 37 miles per hour, and of course that was just around the 2 o'clock, finishing out in the evening. So it will be breezy and gusty for your Halloween for tomorrow. When I come back, I'll give you an overview of this rainfall and the storm activity that's associated with it. Stick around.
In your consumer news this morning, one of the country's biggest supermarket chains is reversing course. Hy-Vee confirming it's getting rid of or changing its self-checkout lines. The company says some of its stores have eliminated self-checkout lines, while others have converted self-checkout to express lanes or 12 items or less. A company spokesperson said Hy-Vee is trying to provide a better customer experience, so it's bringing back traditional checkout lines that the supermarket offered before the pandemic. Some Apple customers who downloaded the company's latest software update have most likely seen the new AI features the tech giant just released Monday. Dubbed Apple Intelligence, the features are the company's first set of generative AI tools aiming to change how people use their iPhones. Proofreading, summarizing, and editing features are better than ever. Apple says the release is just a glimpse of what's to come. A bigger slate of AI features is expected in December. And Chicago is marking a decade as the rattiest city in the U.S. And we're not talking about politics. We're talking about the actual rodents. There they are. Orkin releasing its annual list of the 50 cities with the most rats. Chicago now topping that list for all 10 years it's been around. Los Angeles coming in at number 2, followed by New York City at number 3. The ranking is based on new residential rodent treatment data from September 2023 through August of this year. A new report says many phone companies, speaking of rats, are not doing enough to protect us from those robocalls and texts. A consumer watchdog group says more than half of them have not fulfilled all the requirements of a recent federal law. Nancy Chen shows us how they're falling short.
How about this? Your phone rings and it's a text or a call from a number that you don't recognize. Sound familiar? Experts say far too often these texts and calls are coming from scammers trying to steal your money. To make it worse, the report's author says many phone companies aren't doing enough to stop it. That includes implementing technology to prevent robo and spoof calls as mandated by the FCC. While nearly 4,000 phone companies have installed anti-robocall technology in the last 3 years, the report says only 47% of them have fully completed these measures. We reached out to the FCC, which says it's incorrect to state most providers are not complying. Many are asking for extensions, and some say they're unable to apply the blocking technology in rural areas with older infrastructure. Now, while scam calls have slightly decreased since this law took effect, the report says robo and scam texts have nearly tripled this year to 19 billion a month. The FCC only adopted its first rules focused on scam texting last year. The report's author says text can actually be more dangerous than calls, in part because it's much easier to tap on a malicious link in a text that can expose your data in seconds. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
That's it for your morning consumer news. Time now is 6:20. We'll check back in now with Art for a look at our forecast.
All right, Alexandra, as we get into it here, what I've got going on for your storms, of course, starting today, showers pretty much going into tomorrow as well. We have mild and warm conditions as we go through today. We've got some windy conditions as well. So winds are going to get up to 36 miles per hour plus in some locations. This is for today. And then ahead, we're going to be turning into temperatures that are going to be much cooler. We're going to get into some wet conditions as well in the form of showers. We may even have a day that we have a break, and that will be Friday. We'll have a break from all this rainfall. We'll go right into it. Average temperatures mostly in the widespread 50s. We're also seeing your lows are usually in the 30s. Well, right about now, it's kind of flipped the script. Right now, we're in the 70s, and of course, we may see a little bit of cooler conditions coming in as we go into the afternoon, slowly but surely. In fact, you'll start to cool down pretty much faster, and we're losing the sunlight as we go into the daytime. It gets darker a lot faster now as we go into the evening hours. Here's a look at the moisture, the water vapor imagery. There's a round of moisture coming in all the way over there by the Twin Cities, and then eventually you're seeing some of that moisture kind of moving just south of us and continue to stretch over to areas by Green Bay. That being said, you have the rainfall that's in right now, slowly but surely. Some of this maybe not even hitting the ground just yet, but it's getting close. The storm activity is bullseye pretty much from into Kansas and extending down into Oklahoma, and extends all the way into portions of Nebraska as well. That being said, we only have the smaller portion of it, and it is just a marginal risk for severe weather. Everybody else down to the south is picking up some more severe weather. We're lucky. They're in at least enhanced risk. We are not. As you can see, La Crosse is in it. Eau Claire is not, and of course Ladysmith is not as well. So we're looking at least a 2% chance for tornadic activity. We have about a 5% chance for damaging wind and of course large hail. That being said, tomorrow a different story. This starts to track a little bit more to the east, and as it does, we are no longer in a threat of anything of any kind except for just rainfall for your costume getting wet as we go through the day tomorrow. So please be careful about that. It's still a bit breezy as well for tomorrow. We'll get into it here. You can see the clouds bank kind of move out of the way slowly but surely as we get deeper into the afternoon, with more showers and storms coming in, knocking some of that cloud cover out. Just limited. Will be cloudy though. You're holding on to conditions to be like this. 70s widespread. Getting into at least 6 o'clock though, we drop down to the 60s. Storm activity continues on as it enhances, going into at least maybe like a slight chance of a thunderstorm in there embedded, and then it starts to move out of the way once we get in the 9 o'clock hour. Slowly, you see Wausau is really into some light rainfall. Eau Claire is drying out, as well as Ladysmith. We're almost out of it. As you can see, it's done for the next couple of hours. We're holding on, so maybe into at least the midnight hour. We still have storms here locally. Then we take a break, as you can see, and then take a look at this as we go into it. You're going to be seeing this rainfall as we go into the Thursday morning hours and into the early afternoon. There's a potential for a light bank of snow working into the forecast, and that is over us all the way into Eau Claire. When I come back, I'll have a better overview of how this all plays out, so please stick around.
All right, Art, we sure will. The time now is 6:23, still ahead on your morning news. Having trouble sleeping as Election Day nears? Coming up, what electsomnia is and how to deal with it.
Coming up in the Blitz, more Minnesota high school volleyball action. Class 2A teams vying for a spot in the Section 1 semis. Highlights from Rochester coming your way in just a moment.
At Ashley, it's not just Black Friday. It's the Ashley stain-resistant fabric Where Have You Been All My Life Black Friday event. But don't wait. It's also the Ashley You Can Save Up to $1,000 store-wide Black Friday event.
Are record high energy costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? While you haven't asked for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to face the challenge of living without heat or power or face homelessness. For a hand up, apply today.
We all know what Eric Hovde's trying to do, falsely attacking Tammy Baldwin by questioning her personal life. And Eric Hovde's trying to scare you. The truth is, no sex change surgeries take place on minors in Wisconsin. 0. And Baldwin didn't give funding to a transgender clinic. It's actually a youth homeless shelter. Eric Hovde's a billionaire banker who thinks he can lie about anything. But Wisconsin's better than Eric Hovde.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
I thought I knew Tammy Baldwin.
I thought I knew Tammy Baldwin.
But boy, is she extreme.
Tammy's open border policies flooded Wisconsin with fentanyl and criminals.
Her bill to force women to share locker rooms with biological men? Dangerous.
And Tammy's done nothing to lower the cost of living. In fact, she helped cause the crisis. 25 years is enough. It's enough.
It's enough.
It's time for Tammy Baldwin to go. Fix Washington PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
So many of you have told me about your plans for the future, but prices are too high. So here's what we're going to do about it. I will take on price gouging. I will lower the cost of health care insurance. Donald Trump, well, he wants to give more tax breaks to the wealthy. I will cut taxes for the middle class instead. You may not always agree with me, but I promise I will do everything I can to lift up the middle class and be a president for all Americans. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
At Ashley, it's not just Black Friday. It's the Ashley Mommy Needs This More Than Anything Else in the World Black Friday event. But don't wait, because it's also the Ashley You Can Get 0% Interest for 72 Months Black Friday event.
The News 8 Plus app. Local news on your time.
Welcome to the Blitz. The Cotter volleyball team has dropped just one match since September 12th. That's 17 wins in their last 18 tries. They were looking to keep it rolling in the Class 2A quarterfinals last night. Lewis and Altura across the net from the Ramblers early in this one. Cardinals looking to set the tone. It's Emily Hansen finding space to pick up the point for the Cards. But Cotter was just too fundamentally sound. Great defense in the back leads to a Caitlin Ubel spike that lands in enemy territory. You know things are going well when something like this happens. Overpass here from Ubel is going to drop on the Lewis and Altura side. That's another point for Cotter. Not much later, Clarissa Sauer getting in on the fun. She's going to blow one past the Cardinal back line. Ramblers pick up their 23rd win of the season and advance the Class 2A semis on Thursday. So who will they face? The winner of this one, Caledonia and Pine Island, 6-seeded Panthers. Starting fast, Tegan Barnett drops the hammer. Warriors trailing early, but this team is very experienced and has played in the big matches, especially this girl right here, Liv Myrie, with the solo stuff, sending it back where it came from. And there was a clear advantage at the net for Caledonia this time. Sienna Ogdahl plopping it on the opponent's side on the overpass. Then coming up here, it's the sophomore making the impact. Elsa Blum lets one rip from the left side. That is too hot to handle. Warriors take this one, thus setting up a rematch of a thriller from early mid-September when Cotter won in 5 sets. UWL women's soccer hosting Concordia yesterday on the pitch, and the game was action-packed early. Megan McNeely drops it off to Chelsea Gale. She gets past the defender, is going to bang it top shelf to put the Eagles up 3-0 just 7 minutes in. Then Sophie Pope with the Jets down the sideline sends in a picture-perfect cross to fellow Eagle Jillian Sawadsky, and she taps it home to make it 4-0. Not much later, Sawadsky sticks with it after losing it for a moment. She sends a missile to the top corner, which means a first-half hat trick for her. How about that? UWL has already clinched the WIAC title. They'll wrap up regular season play on Saturday against Stevens Point. That's for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
Life's busy. Off is not an option. You need to be on. On time, on the go, on the call, or just ready to play on. Life's waiting. Power on with Batteries Plus. Visit one of over 700 locations today.
Politics these days stinks. Too much hot air, and you know what else. But I'm no stranger to putting in a hard day's work and getting the job done. I have a history of bipartisan accomplishments. It's a hard job, but I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. I can reach across the aisle and pass good bills just as easily as I can walk across the barnyard with my shovel. So whether it's doing chores on the farm or passing bills in Madison, I'm Steve Doyle, and I'm ready to get back to work for you.
Sunday, November 3rd is the day we've all been waiting for. It's Buzzy's annual 12-hour sale. Get the best deals of the year for 12 hours only from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. Furniture pricing is drastically reduced with over 50% off select products. Get a free adjustable base upgrade with select mattress purchases. Receive a $300 gift, interest-free financing, plus free delivery with Tempur-Pedic purchases, sleep experts on staff, door prizes, and so much more. Don't miss out. One day only at Buzzy's Home Furnishing.
Kamala backed Biden on everything. She supported his disastrous economic agenda, higher taxes on the middle class. Kamala backed his open border policies, and their weakness invited wars. President Trump fights for you. His strength kept us safe. Trump cut taxes for families. Prices were lower, and the border secure. But Kamala wants to double down on failure. Kamala broke it. President Trump will fix it.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal, come have a taste of Wisconsin.
America's Dairyland.
As in real dairy.
It gives Culver's fresh frozen custard its famous rich and creamy flavor. Like really rich.
So rich.
Rich and creamy.
And our cook-to-order Butterburgers?
They're topped with, you guessed it, Wisconsin cheese.
But it's the smiles we put on your face with every meal made just for you.
That really makes our hearts melt.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
He's supposed to serve Wisconsin, but Derek Van Orden doesn't care about making our lives better. Van Orden wants to repeal the law that stops insurance companies from denying coverage if you have a pre-existing health condition. He'd make Wisconsinites pay just to give huge tax cuts to corporations and the wealthy. Van Orden even sides with extremists who tried to cut Social Security. Wisconsin deserves better, and Derek Van Orden does not belong in Congress.
HMP is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I've been with U.S. Cellular for 27 years. They've always taken care of me. But when they asked me to talk to you about their special customer event, Us Days, I said, I gotta get in shape. So they sent me this Hollywood trainer. Oh, this guy's no joke. Us Days means exclusive deals just for us customers.
Now let's try burpees.
Us Days is back at U.S. Cellular. Current customers get $1,200 off any phone, plus $400 off any tablet.
Batteries Plus has the national scale for all your power needs and a dedicated expert for the local support you want. Power on with Batteries Plus Business.
The First Warn Weather app. Download it today. You're watching News 8 Now. Expect more.
Welcome back. In your morning medical news, there are heightened concerns about food safety after a series of recalls linked to harmful bacterial contaminations. It started with that massive recall of Boar's Head deli meat, which revealed serious violations of health and safety regulations. Since then, there's been several other notable products recalled due to Listeria or E. coli. That includes Costco smoked salmon, certain frozen waffles, and those McDonald's Quarter Pounders. Health experts say foods that aren't processed or heated, like the onions likely at fault at McDonald's, come with more risk.
If the product is going to be cooked, then any pathogens that might be there are going to be inactivated by heat. The other onions used at McDonald's are the dehydrated onions, which have been processed. Those are safe. The ones used on the Quarter Pounder are raw. And since those don't go through any heat process, they tend to be at a higher risk.
The McDonald's E. coli outbreak has led to at least one death and 75 cases across 13 states. Patients needing IV fluids in emergency rooms are half as likely to receive them compared to before Hurricane Helene, after that storm damaged a North Carolina facility that makes 60% of the nation's supply. Doctors now turning to alternatives like Gatorade and Pedialyte when possible, as hospitals work to conserve their limited IV supplies. And of course, as we've been saying, we are 1 week away, from less than 1 week actually, from the 2024 presidential election. And no matter who you're voting for, there are likely a lot of different emotions you're feeling right now that can impact your sleep. Mandy Gaither explains something called electsomnia and how you can help manage the symptoms.
If this election is causing you to lose sleep, you're not alone.
We call it elexomnia, so it's insomnia linked with the election season.
Sleep specialist Michelle Drerup with Cleveland Clinic says in her clinical practice, she's seeing more people being triggered with election-related sleep issues. She says the election can worsen symptoms in those who already struggle with insomnia and can also trigger sleep issues in those who don't have chronic sleep problems.
The person has difficulty falling asleep, and they may be kind of thinking about the election or potentially what the future might look like, waking up in the middle of the night and struggling to fall back asleep, or even just poor sleep quality.
Drerup says to prioritize sleep before you even go to bed by limiting social media and election news exposure, which can worsen stress and add to sleep difficulties. Also, be aware of your negative thoughts and challenge them.
Just try to stay in the moment of where things are at right now.
Finally, Drerup says not to focus on the election what ifs, instead zone in on things you can manage.
We have survived many elections. We'll get through this, right? It's only 4 years, trying to figure out what I do have the ability to control. I'm going to go out and vote. I'm trying to, do things to support others to vote. So thinking about what I can do versus a lot of what's out of my control.
The sleep specialist says to also remember to practice healthy sleep habits. That includes getting exercise regularly, avoiding napping too late in the day, and limiting your alcohol and caffeine intake. A Wisconsin exclusive beer company is celebrating expanded facilities. New Glarus Brewing hosted a celebration to announce its new $65,000 square foot hospitality edition. That new facility includes hospitality, brewing, distilling, and retail facilities. They aim to match visitor demand and ensure they can host people on the weekends again. New Glarus Beer ranks 12th in total sales volume among craft breweries nationwide. Local businesses took center stage yesterday at the La Crosse Area Development Corporation as it honored industry leaders making an impact. Mayo Clinic earning the Diamond Recognition Award at LADCO's annual appreciation lunch, where U.S. para-archer Lucas Harrow delivered a powerful message about overcoming mental barriers.
Don't put constraints on yourself. Anything that you believe you can do with enough hard work, effort, and patience is attainable. I never thought I'd be doing what I'm doing. I didn't have that mindset 11 years ago, but I sure do now.
Harrow was paralyzed from the waist down after a diving accident in 2013. He says he hopes to participate in the 2028 Paralympics. From paintbrush to guitar strings, local veterans are finding healing through art. The Tomah VA welcomed vets yesterday for its Creative Arts Coffee House, where service members shared some original artwork, dance performances, and live music.
It can really help veterans, allow for them to use music or use other modalities to express themselves when they don't maybe have words to say it or their thoughts are all jumbled.
The event takes place every 12 weeks and is open to the public. The next Veterans Creative Arts Coffee House is set for January. Time now 6:38. Let's check back in with Art to tell us what to expect on our morning commute.
All right, and then away we go, holding on to conditions to be like this. Windy and warm this morning. We're already in the 70s this early morning, believe it or not. And of course, we get into showers and storms once we get into the middle portion of the afternoon, turning into light to moderate showers. And then once we get into the evening, potential storms could be embedded within those showers. That being said, we're also seeing Thursday, it's going to be wet, it's going to be windy and chilly. And of course, as we get into the overnight hours, we're going to be seeing temperatures kind of changing the script a little bit. We may see temperatures warming up a little bit more so tonight and then cooling down as we go into tomorrow. That's the rainfall I just showed you. Here's the winds right now. They're up to at least 14 miles per hour for us here. Eau Claire at 16 miles per hour. Then we carry over to the wind gusts that are associated with this, up to 23 miles per hour by 7 o'clock, extending into the 33 mile per hour wind gusts coming through, 25 for La Crosse. You get into La Crosse, getting into Eau Claire, it starts to tick down once we get in the 6 o'clock hour for everybody, and those winds kind of back down. That being said, we get into the La Crosse forecast right now, 70s holding on all the way into the 11 or 1 o'clock hour, with showers on the way. And of course, if you're heading to school for La Crosse for the kids, you're looking at 71 degrees at 7 o'clock, 76 degrees as you get into the afternoon at 3. It's something else today. All right, back to you. All right, as we get into our Buzz Report, Martha Stewart dishes out about her life in the documentary. The documentary titled Martha is streaming today. Stay with us. We'll be right back to let you have a little bit more information about that.
If you want selection, then that's what we've got at King Furniture. More mattresses. Did you know you spend a third of your life sleeping? So you better have the best mattress you possibly can. And we have those here at King Furniture with a huge selection to choose from in every price range. Lay down and relax. Take the time to find the exact mattress you want because you're going to be sleeping on this for a while. King Furniture. Nice people, nice furniture.
Who does Derek Van Orden think he is? This guy who reportedly shouted at kids in the U.S. Capitol? I don't give a who you are. I'm a congressman.
Derek Van Orden doesn't care about making our lives better. He'd make Wisconsinites pay just to give huge tax cuts to corporations and the wealthy. Van Orden even sides with extremists who tried to cut Social Security. Wisconsin deserves better, and Derek Van Orden does not belong in Congress.
HMP is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Let's talk about Rebecca Cook. She's a political operative. She's worked for Defund the Police radicals across this country.
Cook spent millions getting Mandela Barnes elected, the most anti-law enforcement candidate in Wisconsin's history.
You remember Barnes, the guy who said reducing prison populations was sexy?
Defund the police radicals make it harder for us to keep you safe.
That's why we can't support Rebecca Cook, because she'll never support us.
Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message.
When I was 27, I was diagnosed with MS. That's life-altering news. I had to prioritize my health and start taking medication. Back then, these cost $6,000 a year. Now the generics cost 5 times that. Senator Baldwin claims she's fighting to lower drug prices, but she's taking millions from Big Pharma and works for them. I'm not taking their money. I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. I'll fight the corruption and lower drug prices because I've lived it.
Under Kamala, there's been a big hike in Medicare premiums. Social Security benefits don't go far with Kamala's inflation slamming seniors. Now Kamala wants struggling seniors to pay more Social Security taxes, while she gives Medicare and Social Security to illegals. That will doom Medicare. President Trump will make sure no one cuts Medicare or Social Security. Trump lowered Medicare premiums, and he'll end the tax on Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
I believe in bringing people together, like my family and neighbors did when I was growing up on the north side of La Crosse. And now that I'm in the state legislature, it's why I focus on bipartisanship, because my whole being is focused on bringing people together to find solutions to make everyone a winner. I've appreciated the opportunity to be your state representative, and if I'm reelected, that's what I'm going to continue to do. My entire focus will be on bringing people together to make Wisconsin a better state.
California banker Eric Hovde has a plan that helps him and hurts you.
Here's the math. Hovde proposed $4 trillion in new tax cuts for rich people like him.
And we pay for Hovde's tax breaks with a 28% cut to Social Security and a 25% cut to Medicare.
Hovde even said he would raise the retirement age.
You have to start changing the retirement age.
Eric Hovde, still helping himself and hurting you.
Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
All right, well, good morning to you and happy Wednesday. What we're looking at are temperatures. You're waking up to temperatures that are in the 70s already, some upper 60s in there as well. Believe it or not, you'll go outside and you'll feel it. It's a little bit more muggy than it was just yesterday. We're getting all this moisture coming up from the Gulf, and we're also seeing a ridge of high pressure still over us, but this is the last day of it. Tomorrow it changes, works more to the east, brings in warmer air for the East Coast, but we're getting some cooler air behind it, as you can see, and eventually we'll be picking up some rain and storms associated with that. Our local temperatures right now are holding on to at least, well, now 2 to about 16 degrees warmer than we were 24 hours ago, believe it or not. That being said, look what's going on. There's the bullseye of all the severe weather. That's down by Wichita and extending down into portions of Oklahoma. We are on the cusp of that. You can see right here, we are in a marginal risk of severe weather extending all the way down to Prairie du Chien as well and extending all the way out to Madison. Now, that being said, we could see maybe a 2% chance of a tornado. We could see about at least maybe about a 5% chance of damaging winds, as well as portions of our area picking up some large hail, as well as a 2% chance. Then tomorrow comes into play for Thursday. That threat is well to our east now, out of the area, even east of Chicago as well. So we're okay with that. So you don't have to worry about anything except getting your costume wet or your kid's costume wet as you go out and do the trick-or-treating. We go into tomorrow, though, or today, excuse me, we're holding on to at least at 2 o'clock. That's when the showers and storms begin. They erupt up, getting into at least some light to moderate showers. Then they continue to move in at 4 o'clock. We could see an embedded storm or two picking up in those little red blotches there with the heavier rainfall associated with that. That continues on. Then we take it into the 6 o'clock hour. It's beginning to thin out, and it's also pushing a little bit more to the east, northeast. As that does, it's pulling away with all that drier air behind it. We're still in the cloud activity, still holding on to some maybe sprinkles to a light shower or two, to a moderate shower working in the area by the time we get 9 o'clock in the evening. And then it continues all the way to 10 o'clock. By the midnight hour, everything's kind of tracked a little bit out of our way. We're starting to just get sprinkles to maybe a light bit of rainfall. By 3 o'clock, we have a break. So we're looking at least by midnight to 3 o'clock, we're in a break or so. Then we see another batch coming in, that associated with a mix of rain and snow. That continues to move out of the area with again holding on to about 12:30 as we go into the morning hours and then to the early afternoon. That's kind of moved over us here with a mix of a little bit of light rain to a light shower to mixed together as we go into the 2 o'clock hour. It's up and out of the area, Eau Claire first, and then up into areas by Wausau, and then it is done. We'll hold on to what we're expecting, about 2 to 3 inches of rainfall associated with that. And as we carry over to the next few days, what I've got going on for you, temperatures like this today, we're looking at least 76 degrees today. We have thunderstorm activity on the way, breezy and gusty winds. Tomorrow's Halloween, just showers in the morning with the possibility of maybe a mix of rain and snow. Very low chance of that. 56 degrees happening, and cooler temperatures will ensue as we go through the afternoon and evening. We're talking at least 30s and 40s, so please be careful.
In our Morning Buzz report, Clint Eastwood's latest film is a courtroom drama starring Toni Collette and Nicholas Hoult. Hoult portrays a man who finds himself in an unusual situation in Eastwood's Juror Number 2. Toni Collette plays the prosecutor. The film is the latest from director Clint Eastwood. Prince William is sharing previously unseen family pictures of his late mother, Princess Diana. The Prince of Wales releasing a new documentary titled Prince William, We Can End Homelessness. In the series, the 42-year-old heir to the British throne recalls visiting The Passage, a British charity for the homeless, alongside his mom. The first episode will air on the British network IT this week.
I was a trophy for these idiots. I was dragged into solitary, no food or water. Those prosecutors should have been put in a Cuisinart and turned on high.
Wow, Martha Stewart dishing about her life in a new documentary. Homemaking guru Martha Stewart holds nothing back, as you saw there. That's in her documentary, Martha, getting very frank about all aspects of her life, including her 2004 conviction for insider trading.
I, like you, was entranced by the films I saw when I was young.
The American Film Institute giving Francis Ford Coppola what it calls America's highest honor for a career in film. The iconic filmmaker is set to receive the 50th AFI Life Achievement Award at a gala tribute in LA next year. Coppola's films The Godfather, The Godfather Part 2, and Apocalypse Now are all on AFI's 100 Years, 100 Best Movies list. Yeah, quite a storied career he has had, huh?
One of my favorites. In fact, he inspired me to become a film director. So,
really?
Yeah.
All right, very interesting. And before we head to break, it's time to look at today's Look Who's 8.
All right, Viviana, she just turned 8 months old. She loves being around family and friends, and with a smile that she likes to say hello with everyone. Look at her, she's just a cutie.
So cute. Happy 8 months to her. And if you know a special someone turning 8 weeks, 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old, we'd love to feature them.
Yeah, that's right. Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button under our home on the website.
Time now is 6:48. Stay with us. We have everything you need to know in 5 minutes or less. Your Morning News Now is coming up next.
I'm Gail King, coming right up on CBS Morning. Glad is talking with two-time Tony winner, there she is, Shayna Taub, about her original musical Suffs and collaborating with Elton John for The Devil Wears Prada musical. I can't wait to see that. That's coming right up on CBS Mornings.
My husband and I were elated to find out that we would be having another baby. But after many tests, my doctors agreed that we had to terminate the pregnancy. It was the worst day of my life. You should know that Eric Hubdy supports laws that stop me and my doctor from making that decision. And that's a ban with no exceptions in cases of rape or incest. It's a ban that could turn doctors into criminals. He opposes abortion, period.
Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
Here's your choice. Tammy Baldwin wrote the law requiring American infrastructure use American iron and steel.
Eric Hovde invested millions in companies that outsourced Wisconsin jobs.
Tammy's fought for Wisconsin's dairy industry.
Hovde asked why he should even know what's in the Farm Bill.
And Tammy Baldwin wrote the law letting kids stay on their parents' health care till they're 26.
Hovde wants to end the Affordable Care Act.
Tammy Baldwin's the one working for Wisconsin.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it.
He did it. It was pretty devastating.
He is bragging about the rights that he stole from American women. And Trump is promising to do more. In Project 2025.
They're restricting birth control,
tracking pregnant women, enforcing a nationwide abortion ban. The government should get out of my business.
Stay out of my business.
That's not the government's business.
In America, women make their own decisions.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
This illegal immigrant was recently arrested in southwestern Wisconsin for a sexually violent attack on a woman, a suspected Venezuelan gang member who entered the U.S. just last year. Unfortunately, Steve Doyle supports sanctuary cities that protect criminals like this, and Doyle opposed sending resources to secure the border to keep dangerous criminals like Alejandro Jose Coronel Zarate away from our families. Steve Doyle's failures are destroying Wisconsin lives. Steve Doyle, unwilling to secure the border, unfit to serve.
I thought I knew Tammy Baldwin.
I thought I knew Tammy Baldwin.
But boy, is she extreme.
Tammy's open border policies flooded Wisconsin with fentanyl and criminals.
Her bill to force women to share locker rooms with biological men? Dangerous.
And Tammy's done nothing to lower the cost of living.
In fact, she helped cause the crisis.
25 years is enough.
It's enough.
It's enough.
It's time for Tammy Baldwin to go. Fix Washington PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Improving your home, improving your life with new windows. If you are tired of old windows that don't open or close properly, that are drafty and cold, that are rotting and falling apart, your life can be better. Enjoy comfort, convenience, and peace of mind with new windows. Feel good when your home looks great inside and out. Call or visit the board store for a prompt free estimate. Get more for less today and every day. The Board Store, 524 Copeland, La Crosse.
Download the News 8000 app today.
Welcome back. It's 6:52. Time for your morning news now. Madeline Kingsbury's parents took the stand during day 9 of Adam Fravel's murder trial. Kingsbury's mother, Krista, testified she saw changes in her daughter's relationship with Fravel. She called the pair's relationship unstable and said Kingsbury was planning to end it permanently before she went missing. Kingsbury's father said he told his daughter to file a police report after Fravel allegedly choked her. And the man who opened fire outside a downtown La Crosse pizzeria will spend 32 years in confinement. DeAndrew Grant injured 6 when he opened fire near Polita's Pizza last June. He originally faced 29 felonies but took a plea deal. An arraignment set for the teen accused of killing 10-year-old Lily Peters. The defendant, who has not been publicly identified, will be arraigned in Chippewa County Court in December. The now 16-year-old boy faces first-degree intentional homicide, first-degree sexual assault, and first-degree child sexual assault charges. The Wisconsin Court of Appeals ruled the case will be tried in adult court. Ahead of Election Day, accepting defeat before a single vote is even counted. Democratic Congressman Mark Pocan and former Republican Congressman Reed Ribble coming together to take the Democracy First pledge. Both lawmakers promised to accept next week's election results, regardless of outcome, saying American democracy relies on faith in the system. Ribble notes poll workers are trusted community members, often your own neighbors, who help ensure fair elections.
I've always said during this election cycle, because there's been so much misinformation and disinformation about Wisconsin elections. And I get it. Listen, if you don't trust politicians, that's fine. You probably shouldn't trust all politicians. But at the end of the day, you can trust your neighbors.
You can find a link to the pledge on our website. Vice President Kamala Harris holding a rally in Madison today. That visit to UW-Madison is part of the Harris-Walz campaign's Get Out the Vote series. She'll be joined by musicians Gracie Abrams, Mumford & Sons, and Remy Wolf. The exact time and location have not yet been released. Former President Trump also expected to rally in Wisconsin today. He'll be joined by legendary Packers quarterback Brett Favre in Green Bay. According to the Trump campaign, the former president will speak at the Resch Expo Center at 6 p.m. If you want to vote today, La Crosse residents can do that at City Hall starting at 8:30 till 4 p.m., the Northside Policing Center from 9 to 4, or the Cleary Alumni and Friends Center on UWL's campus from 9 to 4. On Alaskans can head to the city clerk's office from 8 to 4. A Wisconsin exclusive beer company celebrating some expanded facilities. New Glarus hosting a celebration to announce its new 65,000 square foot addition that'll include things for hospitality, brewing, distilling, and retail facilities. They aim to match visitor demand and ensure they can host people on the weekends again.
All right, how about some rainfall starting in the afternoon? We're talking early afternoon around 2 o'clock with light to moderate showers, turning into heavy showers by at least 4 o'clock. You see our highs for the day, possibly. In fact, we'll get right back into the 6 o'clock hour with showers continue to track over our area, but still the bulk of it is moving to our east. By the time we get in the 8 o'clock hour, we're nearly done, but the rainfall will still hold on in the form of light showers. As we go into the overnight, there'll be a break and then more showers and storms possibly in our forecast. Here's a look at your Halloween forecast as well. It is going to be a chilly day for you all the way through the morning, in and afternoon and evening hours. Look for Friday though. Sunshine is back, and then we get back into some showers. Get out and enjoy it if you can.
Well, think your Ring camera caught a ghost. That footage could be worth $100 grand. The security company is collecting spooky sightings from mysterious patio visitors to ghostly playground spirits for its great ghost search. With where's the ghost? I want to see the ghost. With 4,000 entries already in, you have until November 1st to submit your real footage. Ooh, 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 look, see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Real or staged, they say. Well, oh, let's see. Oh, look at that.
Isn't that the, oh, there it is right there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I don't have any footage to submit. I don't know. On mine, it's like, is that a ghost or is that the Amazon man back again? Usually just the Amazon man.
Oh, it makes me laugh. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here at noon. Until then, enjoy your day.